We did it. We're back. We're doing a second episode. Welcome back to the Wrong Fairway, a golf podcast by bad golfers for hopefully better golfers. I don't know. This is episode 2. We are recording this at the end of August of 2020. And jumping right into it, Dill, Josh, how were your guys' last 2 weeks of golf?
They were pretty good, actually. Had a golf outing. I golfed with someone I never golfed before. I golfed with my family in the rain, and then I had a really good posh round. My bullet last week was putting, and I definitely got better. I angled my wrist a little bit forward on it. Didn't really put on any carpets because, I don't see how that translates. Dylan, maybe you can. But other than that, it was good 2 weeks, Dylan.
Yeah, I don't think putting on the carpet translates, especially because maybe my carpet upstairs is not the same as a green. But if you guys watch a YouTube video I put up, I played Eagle Ridge front nine, and my putting was just atrocious. I missed like a 3-foot putt that was going to be for a bogey, ended up being like a triple bogey. So it was just not a good day. So I did not get better at putting this week, but I'd say I was off the tee a little better, so that's good.
My bullet, I think, was consistency with the irons, and I can confidently say that I got worse with my irons these last 2 weeks. But my 3-wood's back, baby. It's back.
It's
Big
back.
Bertha is back in the house.
Bertha.
So
Freaking Big Bertha is back. I'm so happy.
So, but both of you said that you didn't really hit your bullet. Would you say you improved over these last 2 weeks, though?
Yeah.
I mean, you found your wood, so obviously you improved. But would you say overall the past 2 weeks were a good positive 2 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say I definitely got better, and as much as I didn't see the putting improvement that I wanted, it was still there. So I'd say I wanted to improve my putting by maybe 2-3 strokes. Maybe that didn't happen, but I did improve by about a stroke a hole. I was making some pretty far putts from 10 feet that were par saves or bogey saves, and I really felt confident with that. Especially my green reading has absolutely been off the charts. It's just a little bit of a pacing issue right now. So I've definitely gotten better the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have definitely gotten better, and part of the reason that I know that is I was getting really disappointed with myself. So I played 4 rounds in the last 2 weeks, which was amazing getting to play that much. And I was really disappointed. 2 of those rounds, I shot a 91 and a 94, and I was mad at myself after those rounds. I felt like I left a lot of strokes out there. I felt like it wasn't my best performance. And 3 months ago, I remember I got a 94, and I was jumping for joy. So, definitely getting better, definitely, improving. But my irons were less than ideal, I think, to say the least.
Yeah, I think when we played at East Orange that time, I think the last time I saw you in person before COVID, I think we shot really well. I was +8 through the front 9, and I was just so happy. And now I'm kind of shooting near there, and I still don't feel satisfied with myself, which is kind of funny. Like I think we started the podcast so that we could see ourselves get better and better through these weeks. And then not having the improvement we want to see is a little disappointing, but it's nice to know that it's there.
And I'm going to agree with you on that as well, that we are improving. I mean, every time you're playing golf, I mean, you're not playing to win golf, you're playing to play golf and to get better each time. And I think that, it's kind of my point from last week. We're still bad golfers. Here you go, Patty.
He said it.
We're still bad golfers.
He said it.
But
lock it in. Game over. I win.
But,
woo! Let's go.
But you feel that if we're getting to the point where we're having bad rounds and that we are becoming not good and we are becoming better. And in that becoming better, I think that will lead to us being +8 or something like that.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see the light, right? Yeah. Oh, okay, I hit that 3-wood perfectly. All right, I know how to do it. I just need to get consistent with it. Oh, okay, I hit that perfect putt. I just need to get consistent with it. We're able to make good shots. It's a consistency thing at this point, as well as just like course management and all that crazy stuff that we're not going to worry about till we're 10 strokes better on average.
Exactly.
Yeah, Josh, you made the point last week about the good golfer, bad golfer thing. It's like, we're not bad golfers, but we're not making those shots every single time. And I noticed that this weekend when I was playing. I was didn't really feel like I was a bad golfer because I was making shots. I was making pars, 1 out of every 3 holes, which is pretty good for me. But then there were those bad shots, and I would always say, oh, like I'm horrible. Not really, I'm just having some bad shots, having a bad hole. And that's just going to come with the sport.
Mm-hmm. And I had a shot this week, and I'd like to kind of preface this. I had a really great tee shot. Kind of sloped really nicely. It was a slight dog left. There was a fairway bunker, and put it right there. And then I middle fairway, 110 out, absolute duff of a shot. So I'm gonna preface this. Give me a good shot, bad shot that you guys had this past week.
So I played around. Today's Monday. I played around on Saturday. And this was, I think, hole 17, and this was the round where I got my 3-wood back. I hit it every par 4 and par 5 off the tee, and it was just, like, feeling good. So I was confident with it. I hit it off the tee, and I kind of put it in the left trees a little bit. And I had an angle. It was a long par 5, 530-yard par 5. And I had about 280 to the green on my second shot, and I had this tiny little narrow window, like 3 feet wide with the trees, that I'd have to hit it and kind of draw it a little bit back towards the hole. So like hitting back out into the fairway and curving left towards the hole. And I was like, you know what? Like, I can do this. I'm going to do it. And I did it. And it was insane. It just felt awesome. My bad shot.
Yeah, let me hear the bad
round,
shot.
I think it was hole 15 there. It's a pretty short par 4, and I hit my tee shot pretty well. I had like 60 yards into the green, but it was way, way uphill, like maybe 20 yards uphill. And I think it took me 4 shots to get on the green after my tee shot.
Yikes!
So I'm just going to combine those. I'm just going to combine those 4 as my collective bad shot. Just the wedges were not working for me. I could not get up that hill. I think I hit one like 20 feet up, and it rolled 18 feet back. I swear it was just the worst.
See, Patty, my good shot this week, my wedges were on fire. If you watch the front 9 at Eagle Ridge, you can see even on the front or the first hole, that's going to be my good shot. It's my 3rd shot. I'm chipping for birdie. I'm off the green. And I swear I got it within 3 inches of the hole, and it stopped. So I had a foot for par. It was a tap-in par, and I felt so good. And then later through the round, I was bringing out my 55 degree, my 60 degree. Anything from 110 in, I was almost money. I had a second shot on a par 3 that almost trickled right into the hole on 2 different par 3 holes. But unfortunately, my bad putt, I'm going to have to single out my bad shot was my putt. I'm going to have to single out my 3-foot putt that I totally botched. I shot it way past the hole. I was didn't take my time, didn't line it up. I think partly because I was on film and I wanted to be cool and just walk up and do it. But I now know that I should not be.
It's on the YouTube channel, yes? That shot is on the YouTube channel?
Oh.
What minute for about, what hole is that?
Hole 7. You'll see me on the green.
Probably.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
But, yeah, bad shot was my bad putt.
So I've been holding this one in for a little bit. And this happened, I think, Tuesday after we recorded 2 weeks ago on Monday. I had the best round of my life, and I didn't want to text you guys about it because I wanted to save it for this. I shot a 72.
Impossible.
Subtle brag.
On a par 60.
I was going to say, what, you play 9 holes or something, man?
No, it was a par 60, but on the back 9, I finished 2 over with 6 consecutive pars to close it out. And it was just the best round of my life. I could not miss a single shot.
So now that surprised me because with that, par 60, I'm kind of picturing a lot of short par 4s and par 3s, right? And to me, those, I'm kind of picturing you're using your short irons or at least your mid irons. But you're saying that your irons weren't too good. What's up with that?
So that was the last time I've hit an iron confidently. I had a great day that day, and then the 3 rounds that I played since then, I have been chunking, topping, slicing every single iron. It's been super, super frustrating.
I actually recently, and I played, so I'll have a point which I'll make later, but I found from the fairway, usually, 150 mark is an 8 iron for me. And from the fairway, I decided, you know what, I'm going to use a 7 and I'm going to have a slower swing.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that was exactly what I needed to do. The ball went 150 yards exactly. But from the rough, when I try to do that, it doesn't go the distance. So what I do then is I actually cake up to an 8-iron so I can really swing through it, and that becomes more of a, better swing. And that's where I found my irons were, because, from the fairway, it's very tough. It's very easy to top the ball. And I think my irons have been good, but I kind of figured that out with my distances, with my range.
So I'm kind of the opposite of that. I hit my irons better when I'm taking a full swing at it, and a lot of that for me is when I do a full swing, I use my hips and I fire my hips like a baseball swing, right? Like your back toe, you quote unquote squish the bug. I don't know if you guys had learned that in Little League, but you pivot hard.
I didn't play baseball. It was plain and simple.
Oh, gross. But you throw your right hip forward and your hips go before your upper body. And when I try to take a lesser swing, which is why I was having a lot of trouble with my irons these last couple of rounds, I don't move my hips and my whole swing's all upper body, and it just gets super, super awkward. So I think I'm the opposite of you in that regard.
I do know the squish the bug metaphor. I played baseball all the way up until I think 8th grade or something like that. And I definitely know where you're coming from. You try to get your hips in front of the ball and you really try to power stroke with that front foot, which you're not going to do with golf. You want to keep that foot on the floor there. But
no, you're supposed to pivot the back foot.
Yeah. I go to the range and don't wear shoes, and my pinky toe a lot of times is sore when I'm not wearing shoes, just because.
That's timeout. That's gross.
Wait, yeah, hold on. You go to the range and you don't
rewind.
wear shoes, and you're making fun of me for not teeing it up on par 3s.
No, Dylan, you deserve to be made fun of that. But back to Josh. What?
Okay, so for one, we decided to go to the driving range at 11:30 at night because it's open 24/7. And 2, I was wearing sandals, and I didn't want to golf in those. It was a complete on the whims. We literally went back, picked up a driver, picked up a 7-iron, picked up my pitching wedge, and we went. There were kind of lights up until about 100, and my 100
didn't you
distance.
Pick up your whole bag?
Just wear shoes.
So yeah, so it's I could have wore shoes, but I noticed that
so why didn't you?
Really getting the most grip I have, and
what?
I understand the method. We're gonna cut that entire thing out.
No, that is staying in there,
Josh. No, that's coming out. I have editing. We're cutting that out of that. Oh my god, what were we talking about before that?
Yeah, exactly. I think we can all agree you need to wear shoes at the driving range. That actually kind of segues real nicely to one thing I wanted to bring up. I got a net to hit into in my backyard, as well as a little practice mat.
Do you wear shoes when you do it?
So I haven't a couple times.
All right. Okay.
But no, that is in my backyard on the grass. I'm not wearing. That's not at a public driving range at 11:30 p.m.
So your feet
There's
are
a
getting
big
muddy.
difference.
My feet were
muddy. No, it's dry. I live in a desert, dude. There's no mud.
Right.
I believe in the no shirt, no shoes, no service customer relationship. I think you should have to pay double if you don't want to wear shoes.
Actually, speaking of which, so it rained a bunch near us, and my shoes got absolutely soaked. And then I went to golf the next day. My shoes weren't dry yet, but I decided to actually wear them. So I actually played around in completely wet shoes, which I didn't really notice.
See, I've definitely been there before, though. I don't have actual golf shoes. I know, Patty, you have your nice leather spikes that you wear, but
they're so nice.
I'm pretty much going.
Mine are Adidas golf shoes.
Well, you're an
Adidas golf
golfer.
shoes, but exactly.
I go out and I wear my nice light shoes that I have that I pretty much, if I'm being totally honest, I don't dress for function. I look good, feel good, play good. That's my mentality. If I'm looking good on the course, then I play a lot better.
When you played at Eagle Ridge, you need a bigger shirt. I will say. Well, I watched your video, and your shirt looked a little small for that round.
Well, I've just been lifting.
Damn
it.
I don't think I've seen a weight since we ended volleyball, to be honest.
So are you guys? I mean, obviously, you still guys might run, but are you doing anything for golf, whether that's stretching, whether that's yoga or anything like that? Like, are you guys finding you're supplementing golf with anything? I mean, I'm still running, but that's just for me to run, to exercise. I'm not doing that specifically for golf, but do you guys have anything?
Every morning I try to wake up and do some stretches. I think at the end of volleyball season in our senior year, I had some back issues, and I see them come back playing if I go to the range a lot or if I'm playing a lot of rounds per week. So I've actually have been doing some stretching in the morning. It feels really good, especially if I do it multiple days in a row. But other than that, I've just been doing my normal lifting regimen, so nothing crazy.
Yeah, I do absolutely nothing for golf. It's golf. Like I'm not working out for golf. No way. Like just straight up no.
Just going to the 19th hole for that extra exercise.
Like I'll go out there. I'll go to the driving range before a round sometimes, but that's more just to like get confidence in my clubs. Like I'll do like an air squat or two on the front tee or on the first tee box. Like that's pretty much it. Speaking of warming up for golf though, Dylan, do you remember we both had it at the same time? Like that really, really sharp pain in our chest. So Dylan and I, we golfed like 3 times in like a week, I think, one time. And at the end of it, we both had this like crazy, crazy sharp pain in our chest in the exact same spot. And it was freaking us both out. And apparently it's like a normal golf injury.
Yeah, it's an intercostal muscle strain. Look that up if you feel like it. I got seriously concerned that I was having like a mild heart attack because I could not I could not sleep. It actually hurt so bad. I couldn't sleep on my stomach. I couldn't sleep on my side. So I literally had to sleep on my back, which I'm not used to, and it hurt so bad. It lasted for about a week, and I actually had to reach out to our old athletic trainer to say, hey, am I having a heart attack, or is this actually kind of normal? And she said, no, it's pretty normal, especially if you've been golfing. And at that point too, we had not been stretching, we had not been doing anything for golf. It was like plus I think it was the beginning of the season, like maybe February. We had a warm week in February where we went out a lot of times, so we had not been doing anything. So the amount of strain we put on our body definitely caused that. And thankfully, I have not had it since. But I think it's about time to round the turn because I'm getting a little thirsty. I want to get a hot dog. Boys,
you're thirsty? You want to get... No. You're thirsty and you want a hot dog?
Yeah.
My guy.
I'm thirsty.
I'm thirsty, so I'm going to get a hot dog.
No.
Okay, what?
No. I'm thirsty, so I want, and I want a hot dog.
There you go. And that's the key word.
Use conjunctions, man. They're good for you. Also, use T's on par 3s. Come on.
Be better.
It rhymes. Be better.
Be better.
Anyway, I got my hot dog in my hand here. While we're...
again, what?
We're cutting that. We're cutting all of this.
No, we're not. So wait, so now that we've rounded the turn,
and Dill has his hot dog in his hand.
Dylan's got his drinking his hot dog. How'd your club fitting go, by the way?
Boys, this was the worst possible experience I've ever had in my life. It definitely, looking back on it now, I get what I deserve. I didn't book any fittings. I walked in and went at lunchtime for work, so I was only there for about 45 minutes because I had to drive home. But I basically walked in because Patty's been explaining to us that the fitting was the best thing that ever happened to him, that they went through all sorts of club lengths, all sorts of grip sizes and club heads and things like that. And shaft material. Well, we're pretty much steel, I think, for our swing speeds. But anyway, he was saying that, they get all the way down to like lie angle or like, shaft lengths and stuff. And I basically walked in there, said, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. I'm trying to get fitted. And the guy basically handed me 3 different clubs and said, yeah, okay, here's swing. So I started swinging in the simulator that broke halfway through and wouldn't really display my ball flights. So that was no fun. And half the time he wasn't even there. He was going to find other clubs. So I was pretty much just swinging by myself, trying to find out which club worked best, which none of them really felt good. So that was a big disappointment for me, but I will be going again. Actually, in 2 days, I booked a real fitting with an actual golf pro. So hopefully, I'll be getting kind of a mini lesson along with an actual fitting and new clubs. Finally,
new clubs. I'm very very excited for you to upgrade from Frenzel's old clubs. It definitely helped me a ton. I'm also just excited to hear like how a fitting it because you're going to the PGA Superstore, right?
Yep.
Cool. I'm excited to hear what a fitting there is like because I'm looking to get a new driver at some point in the next couple months. So you'll have to let me know how that goes. All right, rounding the second turn. Let's
fun
get
fact,
there.
course I like to play, Middletown, the Snack Shack is located in between holes 6, 12, and 15. It's like right in the middle there. And it actually is a great spot for them because, you know, you're going to go get a Gatorade, get a seltzer, get a beer on that. So you get it twice rather than just like going out, getting it, and then kind of going in.
All right, so rounding the Middleton Snack Shack turn. Dylan? We did you first last week. Josh, what's your point? What's your question you're bringing to us this week?
So I mentioned earlier that I played a round. It was raining. My shoes got absolutely soaked. So my question for you guys this week is: do you notice any difference when you're playing a really good course, a really bad course, and to an extent, you know, the weather? So did it rain the day before or something like that? So I'll leave it up to you guys, and then I'll go to my experience a little bit later. But Dylan, let me hear from you on this one.
So I think there's definitely a difference when I'm playing at a nice spot versus I'd say a mediocre course. Let's say, you know, $20 for 18 walking versus maybe you're getting a twilight round good deal at a normally $60 course. I definitely notice a difference. I'm trying to play my best at these really nice courses, but I think that also that mentality goes both ways. I play pretty well at the really nice courses, but then if I'm also starting to play poorly at the nice courses, I start to feel bad and I get down on myself. So if I make one bad shot, then I think it spirals out of control a lot quicker than when I'm playing at the bad courses. And, you know, with weather and everything too, I played in some really dry grass. I played in some really wet grass, and there's definitely a difference for me. I like the wet grass a little bit better because my chunks don't I don't have to worry about chunking it as much or losing club head speed at least.
Yeah, one thing I do want to say, just to clarify for anybody that might be listening to this, all 4 of our listeners, the nice courses that we go to, they aren't actually nice courses. They're just like middle of the pack but expensive to us courses. But get into your question, Josh. My like ideal round, I guess, the ideal conditions for me, it is like it rained the day before, and so it's like kind of wet, but it's not like soaked. And then a nicer course. I like the links style courses, the kind of wider, longer courses, much more so. And then for me, a big thing is having a cart for whatever reason. Actually, every time I have a cart, I like play so much better. And I think a lot of that's just like I'm not as tired by the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Like I can maintain that energy level the whole round. What about you, Josh?
So I played 4 very different courses. I played at a pretty nice course. It was actually an outing, and you know, super nice course. So, you know, every shot you had, the sand was all nice and everything like that. And the next day I played at our local, you know, cheap course. And a very big difference I saw was the green. The greens at this nicer course were fast, you know, they had reeds and everything like that. The other course I played, there were like clovers on the green. So how are you supposed to get better at putting when the course just isn't as good? And then this past weekend I played Friday, and it hadn't rained at all yet. And it was, you know, very good, minus the deluge that came down when we were on the 9th hole that absolutely washed us. We were soaked. The parking lot was a wreck. It was actually kind of funny. Like literally a hurricane hit us on hole 9. But then that next day, after it had just rained, the course was very smooth. And the issue with that was the balls would just sink in the fairway. You would get no roll. And similar with the green is the balls would literally go below ground in the green. So I definitely think there is a big difference in it, but it's just something that I noticed that I kind of had to get off my chest.
I feel it.
I think the biggest difference I notice when it comes to the difference in like nice versus not nice courses is the greens. If fairways can be all right. If like obviously I love a really nice cut fairway, especially with a pretty well defined first cut and maybe a second cut and some rough. But when it comes to fairways and you could see the patchiness, like really sandy parts of the green, that's just not fun. And especially if you're near that where your approach shot lands on that nasty part of the green, it's just you can't get a good read on the ball and you really don't feel like you're getting as good.
Exactly. Or like the fringe is like really muddy and you like can't get under it at all, and you're basically chipping from pavement or like in the sand, for example, if it just rained. But it was definitely something I noticed as I played better on nicer courses.
Who'd have thunk, man?
Yeah,
who would have thunk?
Who'd have absolutely thunk? That pretty much exhausts me. Let's go, Patty. Let's go you this week as number 2.
All right, real important question. Very, very golf related. Do you guys think that you would score better by only throwing the golf ball or by golfing normally, and then break it down by par 3s, 4s, and 5s?
Dylan, I need time to think. You go first on this one. It's a loaded question.
I would 100% do better if I could throw the ball. I think I could throw the ball straighter. I'm definitely not. I could throw the ball 100 yards, maybe. Let's say 100.
I think 100 is going to be our maximum range, right? Like that's a football field. That's a long, and that's not accurate. I don't think 100 yards.
Wait, sorry. Can I interject real quick? What are we doing about putting?
No. I think putt normally.
Okay.
Yeah, I think putt normally.
Okay, so I don't have to like try to roll it. Throw it from my knee.
We'll say putt normally for the sake of this.
Yeah, definitely throw. I think I would just cut down on a lot of my drops and bad balls. I think you take a normal par 4 hole. If I'm maybe 400 yards, right? I can throw that 4 times, and maybe if I get an extra launch, like a really far launch, I think I could throw it pretty straight every single time, whereas I can't with all the rest of my clubs guarantee a straight ball.
Okay.
I'm going to say playing normally. I think that once you are throwing the ball, because you figure, we're shooting about a 90 and we're 2-putting every time, so you're looking at throwing the ball about 60, 70 times. I feel like that's a lot, and that'll start fatiguing your arm towards the end, so you'll actually lose distance. So I think playing normally. I think you can do that just 7 irons the entire time and kind of suffice that need to get the ball long. Like if we're really trying to play around where you're either throwing this or golfing normally, I mean hitting a 7-iron every time is still golfing normally. So I'm going to go with golfing normally.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on this one, Josh. I think golfing normally for sure, because if it was like if I'm facing off against somebody who, like if I'm playing in a match against somebody who's throwing it, I'll just hit pitching wedge, 140 every time relatively straight, and I think that I would outdistance them on every single hole.
I think you're taken away from the question. I think if you're playing normally, that means you're not hitting 7-iron every time. You're not hitting pitching wedge if you're going in a match against someone throwing. The point is you play a normal round exactly how you were going to play, as if you didn't even know about the question, and then someone else comes right after you and then throws.
So that's fair. I still think golfing normally. I don't think I could get under 100 throwing a golf ball on a normal course.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Do I get a running start?
It would definitely help. No.
I
don't think so.
Most courses are from the blues are, the one off the top of my head is 6,700 yards.
I was going to say about 7,000 to 6,500 to 7,000.
7,000.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
You're throwing the ball 70 times, and then you're putting, if you 2-putt every time, that's 36 times on average. So right there, you're looking at 108?
Yeah.
106.
Something like
106,
that. 106.
I can shoot better than 106.
I want to argue
Checkmate,
against
Dylan.
the fatigue question here, because
argue against the fatigue. Even if you don't get fatigued, you're still shooting 106.
I want to argue against the fatigue here. Just after a round of golf, you also have been swinging it. You've been swinging the club 100 times, if not more. And
That's using so many more muscles than just your right shoulder and right deltoid and right bicep and right tricep.
if I'm getting a running start, so you say I get like
I'll give you a running start.
I think you get like a step, like you can take like that left foot step.
No.
I wouldn't say running start.
Little crow hop.
We're talking like a Happy Gilmore.
All right, fine, sure. For the sake of this, sure.
Okay. If I get a Happy Gilmore, I think that takes. I think I'm getting enough velocity off of that little bit of a crow hop that it's going to take a little bit off my arm. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be sore, but I don't think at the end of 4 hours I'm going to be feeling it. The next day, 100%. There's no doubt. But I think the fatigue is not a question here.
And yeah, you hit 70 volleyballs in a game, so I think we are right in that we're not going to get.
I never set him that much. Not once did I set Dylan that much.
Nope.
I mean, between serving and that, yeah, you didn't set Dylan that much.
I never.
But one thing is, you are throwing the ball straight. What if it rolls into the sand or the rough? So then you kind of have to pinpoint exactly how hard you're throwing it. And I think that'll also accumulate strokes.
Yeah, but check this out.
If you're trying to throw if there's an island
Getting-
green and you're throwing it from the tee box and you hit it into the water, that's still a stroke penalty.
I mean, I've never played an island green, but
They're so
I do
much
think
fun. I birdied it. I was so happy.
the big advantage you get from this is the rough and the sand don't matter.
Yeah, because you pick it up.
Right? Like you're picking it up and you're throwing it. So that's definitely a huge benefit. And I think par threes, I think I would play better throwing it, but par fours and fives, I would definitely play better normal golf because I can't throw a ball, over 100 yards, and I do think 100's like pushing it. Like that's a full football field. That's a long ways.
Yeah.
So I think like a par four that's normally, let's say, what's the average, like 350 on a par four, 300 ballpark?
350.
Yeah, 350. That's four throws, 3 at best to get on the green. I think I can do that normally when I'm golfing because we're bogey golf, right? So that's on the green in 3 normally on a par 4.
Maybe a par save, which I found I've having gotten better at putting these last 2 weeks. I found I'm actually hitting those par saves, which is lowering my score.
Par saves are the best feeling. Sometimes they feel even better than birdies, but maybe not. But you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it depends if you had to have like this really, really good approach shot or a really good recovery shot you had. That makes a par save that much better.
Yeah, if it was like a tough up and down, like a really tough shot to get on the green, and then you make a tough putt for par, that feels awesome.
Little sidebar here from me. I played a 9-hole course, and I shot a 49, which is meh. I had 5 lost balls in that 49.
Ooh, that's rough.
That's tough.
I putt a total of 16 times. But I also 18 birdies lets you do short chips, and guess how many times I chipped the ball that round from like short around the green chip shots?
8.
13.
That's too many.
That's way too many.
That's way too many. Work on your chipping, my guy.
And that's one of the things. It's like my putting recovered here, but my chip shots were here. But
when we played at Eagle Ridge, Drake. We played 9 holes. I'm pretty sure Drake lost 13 balls. I'm not even kidding. I went and dug into my bag and counted the balls I had left, and I don't think I had half as many balls as I started out with that day, which I weighed my bag a little bit, and I was like, there is a definite difference in the amount of balls that I had because he lost so many. But he also did something that I don't want to say irks me a little bit, but I want to get your guys' opinions on it. He was playing some music in the cart, and I want to know what you guys feel about music while you're golfing, because my opinion is I think music in the cart's fine, but I shouldn't be able to hear it outside the cart. If we're parked if we have the cart parked on the side of the green and all 4 of us are out there putting on the green, I don't think I should be able to hear my music.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I was actually just talking with Laura about this. So whenever I go and golf, whatever song I listen to last is in my head for that entire round. So I always try to pick a good tempoed, kind of upbeat song. And for whatever reason, whenever I golf for 4 hours, that song's just on loop in my head. And I actually golfed with somebody last weekend, and he was playing music. He had a little push cart, and he had a speaker attached to it, and he was like bumping it the whole time. And like he would turn it down when we were putting and when other people were hitting, but he forgot a lot of the time, and it bugged me so much. I did not like. I feel like I sound like an old man saying that, but I really did not like it at all.
So I have 2 points on this. The first is, it depends what type of golf you're playing. If you're with your buddies and you're getting, pretty drunk on the course, and you're trying to have a good time, I can see why you might be listening to music, whether it's country, whether it's soft house or whatever you'd like to listen to. I love EDM music, so I've actually found that on the course, I will, when driving to my ball or something, or we're waiting and the guy's already teed off, like a par 3 or something, after they tee off, I'll listen to music just to kind of, nice, light, peaceful, Nora and pure music like that. But I don't like it when I'm teeing off, and I tell everybody, and most of us that I play with here don't enjoy it. Yeah. And, if I'm frustrated, I'll also listen to a little bit of music, which definitely will be able to, calm me down just a little bit, soothe me out. But I understand both your points, and I don't like it when I'm playing, but in between, absolutely love it.
That's fair, yeah.
When I'm playing by myself, I actually don't mind when I put on headphones, my little in-ear earbuds, my Beats. Those actually, I like putting on some soft music, like you said, but then half the time I'll play the first 9 and then I'll take it out and I'll be like, why was I listening to music this whole time anyway? Because I think part of what I love about this sport is just being outside for 4 hours, especially when it's nice weather. Even, call me crazy, but when it's a little bit chilly and I got like my nose is a little bit running, it's so nice, especially to hear the birds and to be able to hear your swing. I think there is something so underrated about being able to fully hear your swing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Some of my favorite times golfing were when we were out there January, February, March on like those cold mornings, and we all just like put our phones on Do Not Disturb for 4 hours and just walk around on a golf course and just chat. But I definitely agree with your point, Josh. Like if us three were golfing together, like for a golf weekend, like a golf trip, which is potentially in the works, more on that next episode. Like I'd be down for one of those rounds. We just drink a bunch of beers, play some music, wear our Hawaiian shirts, and just kind of like mess around. Maybe do like a scramble or something. I think that'd be a ton of fun.
That would be a time when you would want to have music because you're having fun. You're still playing golf, and I'd hope we're at the point where when we do that, we're all still playing well. It may not be our best round, but maybe we're trying a shot that you tee the ball up high and you try to drive it over 2 trees or something like that.
Like I think. I mean, I haven't seen you guys golf in a while, but even back in March when we were all golfing together, I think we're all good enough to golf like that and not lose 10 balls.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Like we're not going to break 100 most likely if we're drinking and playing music and messing around, but like we're also probably not going to keep score at that point.
Exactly.
If I'm being honest.
Plus, we don't get to golf with each other a lot, and I think there's definitely that social aspect where even if you are playing well, you just abandon the scorecard for a little bit and enjoy the time with the boys.
Exactly.
And I golf with, and sometimes when I golf with my dad, he always tries to make a game out of it with, whoever drives the ball, 2 people farthest to the left and then 2 people to the right play, and then you just count how many holes you play, or how many holes you win. And I think that puts a little bit of pressure on you, which definitely affects your game. Because it's like the first time the 3 of us golf together, it's going to be a challenge. Like
we're going to compete.
We're going to compete. And then I'd like to think whether we play, 18 and maybe we play 9 right after that where we're just having fun, talking, or play 9 before that so we can kind of all see each other. So then the next day, that's when, the music comes out. But that unwanted pressure of people that make golf so intense, that's not us.
No,
I want to be out there for those 4 hours, enjoying that time with myself, with nature, with whoever, we're paired up with. Just kind of my 2 cents.
I definitely agree with you there. It's when we golf together, it'll be us not seeing each other for like 6-7 months. Like we're not going to focus on golf. I'm definitely going to do my very best to beat both of you guys, but
Yep.
like that's not my only goal.
I was telling my mom too, because I want to get my clubs here. I'm getting fitted Wednesday. I'll probably order clubs on Wednesday as well, just straight from the supplier manufacturer through PGA, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the lead times. Custom clubs, they'll probably be about 4 weeks to come in. And I think that I should be able to have them in time for our outing. And I was telling my mom, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to ship my clubs all the way out there or check them like below the plane. And she said, do you really want to bring your new clubs all the way out there? I'm like, of course.
That's the whole point.
Like,
That's the whole point.
I was like, I need to be playing my best golf when this outing comes so that I can show all of you guys up.
When this outing, we cleaned out our garage and we found all the golf, travel bags that you would like check golf bags through. And I just remember I saw one, I'm like, I really like this one. So like my mom's like, okay, we're only going to keep 2 of them should anybody else need to fly anywhere. And I literally took it, cleaned all like the leaves out, the cobwebs out, everything like that. Cause I'm like, I know I'm going to fly to California and this bag needs to look nice. And super excited for when that comes.
I might need to get a bag like that, but I also wanted to bring. Did you guys see DJ's putt this weekend to force the playoff
Insane.
hole? And then did you see John Rahm's putt to end it? Well, not to end it, but
insane.
Absolutely nutso. Oh my god, that was 2 of the best putts I think I've seen to date.
I kind of feel like DJ got robbed a little bit just because he forced the playoff hole. He's here, to hit a putt like that to force the playoff is just incredible. And then you see John, he's in the rough for his second shot. He gets it to the far side of the green. DJ's got to be thinking, okay, John's going to 2-putt. All I need is a par here.
Yeah.
We'll take it to the next hole and settle it there. But for John to come out and hit a 60-foot putt, aiming it like 45 degrees left of the hole to catch the slope, that was absolutely incredible. And I watched it like 10 times in a row.
It was so cool to watch. It kind of reminded me, there was one like a month ago. I don't think it was Morikawa. Maybe it was Spieth. One of those other guys had another like really long 50-foot insane break putt to win it or force a playoff or something. You guys remember that, or am I rambling here?
I don't remember it.
I don't remember. I probably didn't watch it, but you can.
Dang it! On that note, let's transition to our bullets. So, what are you guys going to work on in the next 2 weeks? Like, what's your focus for the next 2 weeks? What's your one thing?
So, irons is going to be it this week for me. I went out to the range, filmed that so I can take a look at my swing, and I was actually getting some pretty good contacts. Balls were going straight, and based on the footage, I'm coming down on the ball from outside to inside, which isn't really good. It's kind of causing me to slice a little bit, and that's something that I think I can tangibly look at on film and try to get better. I want to say putting again, but I don't want to be boring. I think that putting is going to just come to me when it comes to me, so I'll have to deal with it when it happens.
My next 2 weeks look light on golf. On my last 4,
Okay.
I've been playing about twice a weekend and maybe 9 holes during the week and going to the range. So with this being Labor Day, definitely it's a family time, but I definitely will get to the range. So I think for me this week it's going to be range consistency.
Okay.
And I think
I like that.
I can show that by maybe going with 3 or 4 clubs, maybe going with my high irons and my low irons and then my wedges, and just making sure the contact's there and the balls are only within 30 degrees. I'm not going to hit every ball straight, but I don't want to slice balls, I don't want to duff balls, and I don't want to kind of skull any. So I think that's going to be my bullet this week, is range consistency with club groupings.
Yeah, for me, kind of similar to you, Josh, is I want to focus on ball striking with all my clubs, putter included. So I feel like sometimes I'm putting and I'm hitting on the toe of the putter, and then I'm also definitely, like, the toe is my miss when I miss on every single club. And so I got some of the Dr. Scholl's like foot spray where you spray it on your club face and it shows you exactly where like the ball impacts.
Yep.
And so I got the net in the backyard all set up. So I'm just going to try to commit to spending, an hour every other day just focusing on really striking the ball better. Because that was my main issue with my irons, right? Is I was chunking every ball, I was hitting it off the toe. It just wasn't pretty,
Take some of that Dr. Scholl's foot spray and spray it on Josh's driving range feet. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening and for joining us out here on the Wrong Fairway, a place we find ourselves pretty often. If you want to go ahead and follow us on Twitter, it's at Wrong Fairways with an S at the end, and we put up a few YouTube videos on our YouTube channel as well. That is The Wrong Fairway. We got some good content going up on both those platforms, as well as you can find us on Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can find your podcasts. But again, I just want to say thank you for all of our listeners out there, and remember, always wear shoes at the driving range. Thank you very much, and have a good one, guys.
Hell yeah, buddy.